100K per year from a side hustle. Even saying that right now still sounds a little weird. I can remember sitting back in my old cubicle at my old job just thinking, man, if I ever even hit 100K total per year, all my problems would be solved. I wouldn't be stressed about paying the rent. I could go on a vacation once a year. I could pay off my student loans, no problem. Or that's what I thought anyway. In this video, I'm going to explain why you might not want to quit your job the moment you hit $100,000 from your side business, and share with you the numbers on why I decided to keep my job even though I now make more than 100K annually from my side business. And let me know too in the comments below how much you would need to quit your job in the comments. I'd really like to know your number. First things first though, I need to stress that it took a really long time to create my side business and for it to hit 100K. I did it the old-fashioned way. I started a blog called foodtruckempire.com, a website dedicated to starting a food business about 8 years ago. And to give you some perspective on how long it took me, my first 2 years blogging, I made $15,000 total before expenses even. Years 5 and 6 of my blog, I made $50,000 to $80,000 annually. And in 2020, that was the first year I finally squeaked by 100K revenue for the first time ever. So as you can tell, my revenue slowly improved each year. Ordinary people like me and you, trust me, you can build a business on the side, but doing it is probably gonna take a long time. At least it was in my case. So here are a couple reasons I would consider keeping your job just a little while longer, even if your business is working. Before I get into this, I also just wanna say, if you're already making 100K, 50K, 10K per year while holding down a full-time job, congratulations. This is not easy to do, and you've definitely got my respect. But I digress. So to make things easy, let's say you make 100K per year from your side hustle, or $8,333 in monthly average income. Of course, if you run a side hustle, I bet your income hasn't been totally consistent over the past 12 months, has it? 1 month, you might make 25K because you launched a new course, or maybe you signed a big client. The next month, you might barely make $2,000. By keeping your job, you'll have the security of knowing that your basic bills are paid, even if the business happens to be slow for a couple of months. I also want you to keep in mind that gross revenue does not equal net profit. When we work at a job and get a W-2, all of our taxes, our healthcare expenses, all that stuff is automatically taken out of your paycheck. So, you kind of barely notice it. I'm the same way, but trust me when I say this, you're gonna notice how much comes out with taxes after you start a business. Now, according to this report, an individual in the US making between 89K and 170K is gonna be taxed at a rate of 24%. This means you could expect $24,000 of your income to go to taxes if you were with a 100K business. Now I get it, right? This rate is gonna be lower if you're married and you're probably gonna report a whole bunch of expenses. That's gonna lower your tax burden too at the end of the year. But either way, I just need you to know that the reality is a big chunk of your monthly income is gonna get wiped away by taxes, and you wanna be prepared for that. Next, if you're living in the United States, I want you to think about health insurance, especially if you've got a family. I researched the top tier plan similar to what I have through my employer right now, and the monthly cost would be around $3,000 per month just to cover my family of 4. Also for me, my wife doesn't work outside the home, so I don't have the option to get covered through her employer or anything like that. And yes, I know the money paid into a healthcare plan is typically exempt from federal, state taxes, and Medicare, but still, again, health insurance is going to take up a chunk of that monthly revenue if you're covering a family. If you happen to be flying solo, this isn't going to be as big of a deal for you, but it's still worth looking into and understanding. Finally, here's the thing I never hear anyone talking about when it comes to quitting their job to open a business. Sure, you're gonna get at least 40 hours per week back to work on your own stuff, which is awesome and could completely transform your business. But here's a little different question for you. Are you gonna have any money left over at the end of the month to reinvest into the business after you leave your job? In my life, I run 2 websites as my side business, which is obviously a lower cost business model than a lot of other people are gonna run. I don't need to rent a retail space. I don't really need to travel anywhere for the most part, but there are still costs, especially if I want to grow the business over the next couple of years, which I do want to do. So for example, just last month, I spent about $3,500 for content for my websites. I also pay for things like website hosting and software programs monthly too. Also in 2020, I had a really rare opportunity to buy a competitor website for $30,000. And if I had quit my job the first year that I made 100K on the business, I really don't think I would have had enough money to be able to swing that purchase to buy the site. Fast forward a couple of years, and this second website now brings in close to half my business's revenue. And it's been a complete game changer for me to acquire, and I would have missed out on a major opportunity if I didn't have the cash to snap it up when the opportunity became available. So just before you quit your job, again, I just want you to think about your personal expenses and the expenses your business is gonna have too once you let go of that regular 9-to-5 paycheck. Now, of course, with anything, take my perspective with a grain of salt. This is the path that I've decided to take, and it's helped minimize my risk, but everyone's personal and financial situation is different. I'm 40, you might be younger or older than me right now. You might have a toxic job, a terrible boss. You might be underpaid severely. You might be required to work 60 hours a week and just really need to get out of that situation. If this is you, you might be right. Getting out right now might be the best thing for you to do. For example, I have an internet friend named Pat. He started a website called Starter Story just a few years back, and now he makes more than I do. I've linked up to his website in the description below if you want to check it out too. But Pat quit his job after only a couple years running his blog and has made more than $1 million in sales from it since 2018. Do you think Pat really wishes that he had grinded it out in his at the software company that he worked for another 24 months? I seriously doubt it. So now you understand the reasons why I haven't quit my job yet. No matter what decision you decide to make, I think these are really important questions for you to consider before venturing out on your own. And again, let me know how much you need to make before quitting your job. I'd really like to know what you think. I'm a small channel, so I respond to literally anyone that leaves a comment, and I appreciate your support. See you next time.